The discipline program at San Diego Unified Schools focuses on the root cause of behaviors that get students into trouble instead of simply kicking kids out of school. The result, the number of expelled students dropped by 60% last year. Here with more on the restorative justice program are my guest, Vernon Moore, San Diego Unified's Executive Director of Youth Advocacy, and KPBS education reporter Matt Bowler. And Vernon, remind us of how the restorative justice program works.
Well, the restorative justice is a mechanism where school leaders and administrators can bring our students, our staff, and community together to discuss incidents that have happened on our campuses. And sometimes it's used in lieu of a suspension or recommendation for expulsion, but oftentimes it can be done in conjunction with those disciplinary measures. And it's an effort really to address incidents on campus, but most importantly, to bring dialogue to repair the harm that occurred from an incident.
Give me some specifics, if you could, about how do you get to these root behaviors? So let's say you have these meetings, these discussions, and you discover something? Like, how do you get at to what the real issue is?
Well, I think the best way to get at the root behavior would be with a trained facilitator facilitating what we call restorative circles or a restorative conference, where let's say two students got into a fight, that person would be able to, in this circle, have students really voice what happened, how they felt, how viewing the fight made them feel, or when things occurred made them feel. And through that, we're able to refer students to our other programs. We have counseling and guidance, mental health resource, and to other departments that can really delve deeply into whatever the students are facing.
Getting out at the root cause there. Now, Matt, your report this week focused on students at Crawford, right? And so they're the ones involved in the program there at that school. What did they tell you about the program?
Well, Crawford has the Academy of Law, which is a special sort of school within a school where they teach these kids the A through G standards, but from a sort of a legal perspective. So a lot of these kids want to become lawyers or become involved in the law in some way. So they see this as great kind of practice in a lot of ways. They see it as a real success story. They feel as though they're having an impact in their schools. Although they would like to have more of an impact, they were asking the board for things like a stable classroom, possibly trying to figure out a way within the school day to give more time to these restorative circles because they're seeing so much success with them.
Sure, so you mentioned stable classrooms. So what is a stable classroom, and how does that compare to what's going on now?
Well, right now they kind of beg and borrow where they're going to do these circles at. They go to a history teacher says, yeah, use my classroom, and math teacher can't volunteer the classroom because he's got to teach class, or so they're kind of begging and borrowing right now. But they just want to expand and stabilize the practice at Crawford High.
And is there any peer mentoring going on at Crawford, or is that part of the whole program as well?
Well, I feel like that's happening within the restorative circles as well. If the two kids who are in a fight are two hypothetical kids who are fighting, they're not there alone with parents and administrators. There's other students there kind of with them, helping them, validating their feelings and validating their perspective on things, but helping them learn why they shouldn't be fighting and what the root problem is.
Sure. So what about, Vernon, I know that there's this expansion both from the students and the district as well for next year. So what's in store for that? How do you want to expand it?
Well, of course, we're looking at resources because we want to ensure that our students have the resources and our administrators and faculty teams have the resources to continue on with this program, and stable classrooms and places like that certainly are at the top of the list. But what we're really focusing on for next year is training and building capacity at our school sites. That's where we see the most impact, is when a school site as a whole embraces restorative work, then it can have a tremendous impact on suspensions, on recommendations for expulsion, and overall campus climate. We have the example of Crawford High School, and another high school in the City Heights area, Hoover High School, has also brought in this restorative work. It came out in another way. They don't have an Academy of Law the same way Crawford does. Instead, many of the staff members were trained. Teachers were using restorative circles in their classroom for instruction and such. And so that school also experienced some extraordinary results and drops in suspensions and recommendations for expulsions.
60% in 1 year. That's pretty impressive. We are unfortunately unfortunately out of time. So Vernon Moore and KPBS education reporter Matt Bowler, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.